don't mean to, though. I just do my thing and drink Miller Lite and hang out with my friends.
Do you ever find yourself wondering how Miranda Lambert is able to convey such profound levels of agony through her music? One can find the solution by looking at the numerous misfortunes that she has endured throughout her life. It has been acknowledged by Miranda that people frequently fail to take me seriously. I have been through a lot of difficult times. It is possible that I will use comedy to hide the fact that I am feeling sad. Prepare to be astounded as we dig into the shocking challenges that Miranda Lambert has encountered in her life. It's time to get started. It is common practice to examine Miranda Lambert's meteoric climb to fame in the country music industry through the prism of her polished and self-assured attitude, as well as her chart-topping tunes. On the other hand, her path from being an uncomfortable youngster in Lindale, Texas, to becoming a recognized artist exposes a distinct aspect of her tale. Her journey was distinguished by insecurity, modest beginnings, and a slow progression both personally and professionally. Lambert was not even close to being the gorgeous figure she would eventually become when she was growing up in the little town of Lindale. For the purpose of an interview with 17, she frankly reflected on her adolescent years, confessing that she was not exactly a student who stood out from the crowd. "I didn't fail, but I came very close to passing," she admitted humbly. This academic success was not a manifestation of defiance or a desire to go against the norms that were considered acceptable. Her life at the time was reflected in it, rather than the other way around. Lambert was a young lady who was dedicated and interested in other aspects of her life, despite the fact that her grades were not very impressive. She played in the band at her church, which functioned as a primary social hub where friends would assemble at her house. She was actively involved in the band on a regular basis. The fact that she was involved in this community component of her life formed a picture of her as someone who, despite being socially active, did not have a strong tendency toward the conventional sort of defiance that is associated with adolescence. Additionally, Lambert's high school experience brought to light her issues with both her self-image and her sense of style. In addition to stating that her dress selections were not even close to being fashionable or polished, she referred to her style as bad, real bad. The combination of her normal wardrobe, which consisted of wind trousers and t-shirts, plus the fact that she did not wear any cosmetics at all, added to her self-described awful appearance. The gorgeous image that she would eventually create as a country music singer was in stark contrast to the lack of fashion sense that she had when she was a teenager. The uncertainty that she faced regarding her future was the greatest source of concern for Lambert during her adolescent years, notwithstanding the difficulties she encountered with her appearance and her academics. During her reflections about her younger self, she exhibited a sense of apprehension for the future that was to come. "I would tell my younger self, when I was 17 years old, that everything is going to be fine," she revealed. With her statement, she exhibits a profound sense of uncertainty, as well as a genuine anxiety about the direction her life is taking. From the time she was 17 years old, Lambert struggled with anxiety regarding every aspect of her future, a sentiment that most certainly continued throughout her early adult years. This self-doubt and fear about her future were important emotional hurdles that she had to overcome, and they revealed a side of her that contrasted with the self-assured public character that she would eventually establish. Miranda Lambert's childhood was characterized by a combination of love and complexities that was unlike any other. During her childhood, Miranda was surrounded by love and support from her family, which included her older brother Luke, as well as their parents, Richard and Beverly Lambert. The Lambert family's professional existence, on the other hand, brought a more difficult and hard component into their home atmosphere. Both Richard and Beverly Lambert ran a private investigative company, which was a line of work that invariably put the Lambert family in contact with more disturbing elements of human conduct. This meant that Miranda and her brother's formative experiences were entangled with the harsh reality of their parents' employment. This was the case for both of them. In the book From Cradle to Stage, written by Virginia Hanlon Grohl, Beverly Lambert recounts the stories of mothers who rocked and raised rock stars. She also mentioned that she occasionally enlisted Miranda in a role that was both humorous and revealing. In one occasion, she disguised Miranda as a cheerleader and had her act as if she was selling candy while she was secretly looking for information that was linked to her investigations. However, despite the fact that this light-hearted pretend was completely innocent, it does hint at the extent to which the Lambert children were involved in their parents' professional activities. The more deep influence of their parents' employment was not so much about their direct involvement as it was about the emotional weight that Miranda and her family carried as a result of their involvement. Because of the nature of the work that private investigators do, they frequently come into contact with individuals and families who are going through difficult times. It was not uncommon for Richard and Beverly Lambert to bring mistreated women and children into their home. The Lambert household was profoundly affected by the cases that they brought home. In an interview with The Guardian, Miranda described the experience of being exposed to trauma as a major emotional load, saying that we brought all of the misery in. The compassion and empathy that she saw from her parents, who helped those who were in need, stood in stark contrast to the misery that the people that they assisted were experiencing. During an interview with Success, Miranda Lambert detailed the challenges that her family faced as a consequence of their decision to pursue self-employment. When you are self-employed like that, there are moments when things just go down the tubes and the phone stops ringing, she added. My parents worked their AEs off throughout my entire existence. As a result of this volatility, the Lamberts were forced to deal with financial challenges and change their behavior in response to shifting conditions. In spite of their efforts, they unexpectedly found themselves in a position where they needed to begin over, a circumstance that required them to confront tremendous obstacles. In the book, From Cradle to Stage, which is a collection of stories from mothers who rocked and raised rock stars, the family was forced to rent a modest house that was reported as being plagued with rats during this time. The intensity of their financial troubles was brought to light by this living condition, which reflected a striking contrast to the degree of stability they had previously enjoyed. During her contemplation of this difficult time period, Beverly Lambert openly expressed her hopelessness and anguish through prayer. In an effort to find stability and a more favorable living condition, she would pray to God, asking Him to provide me with a solid foundation. During the course of her daily routine, she would drive by a particular house that she had a profound desire to reside in. This property represented her aspirations for a more stable and secure future. Beverly's prayers were answered in a manner that appeared to be nearly coincidental, and this was a miraculous occurrence. One of the preachers, who had observed the difficulties that the Lambert family was experiencing, made an offer to rent them the house that Beverly had been admiring at a price that was substantially cheaper than what they were paying at the time. This unexpected turn of events gave the family a much-needed break and a renewed sense of hope, which they had been lacking for quite some time. During this time period, Miranda Lambert had experiences that had a significant impact on the development of her character and strong work ethic. During the interview for Success, she pondered on the things that she had learned while going through these difficult moments. She explained that I had to learn how to perform chores because you have to learn how to carry your weight. She was instilled with a strong work ethic and a sense of resilience as a result of her early exposure to duty and the requirement of contributing to the well-being of the family. As the Lambert family worked their way back to a stable financial situation, they continued to adopt a way of life that included living off the land. The family was able to maintain their standard of living thanks in large part to Richard Lambert's abilities as a hunter. In addition to providing them with financial support, he hunted in order to provide them with meat for their table. This activity not only helped Miranda develop a passion for hunting, but it also helped him provide for his family. The family's commitment to triumph over challenges and preserve their autonomy was demonstrated by the fact that they lived a lifestyle that was self-sufficient. It is clear that Miranda's family is quite resilient, as seen by the fact that she reflects on her father's determination to ensure that they never go hungry. According to her, my father had promised that my family would never again experience hunger, and we did not. This vow, as well as the subsequent execution of it, reflected the battling spirit that Miranda had gained from her upbringing. She attributed her personal motivation and work ethic to this spirit, which she recognized as being the driving factor behind both. She had a strong desire to put in a lot of effort and provide for herself and her future as a result of the experiences she had during her upbringing, which were distinguished by financial challenges and the requirement to adapt. Now let's talk about the personal life of Miranda Lambert. When Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton tied the knot in 2011, their union was recognized as a power couple moment in the world of country music. This was because of the fact that they were a power couple. Both were well-known celebrities, and their marriage became a topic of discussion among fans and the media almost immediately after it took place. Nevertheless, during the same year that Shelton became a judge on NBC's The Voice, the pair is confronted with enormous problems that put their love to the test. Almost immediately after they tied the knot, Shelton's new commitment to The Voice presented a huge challenge to the initial elation that they felt about their union. In order to film the show, he was needed to spend the most of the year in Los Angeles, which was a significant distance from their house in Tishomingo, Oklahoma, which were Lambert's favorite location. The frequent back and forth between Oklahoma and Los Angeles was something that Lambert did not enjoy, as reported by TMZ. The fact that she had a strong fondness for their hometown stood in stark contrast to the new professional responsibilities that Shelton had, which added additional strain to their relationship. Lambert made sacrifices for Shelton and his marriage, and Shelton himself appreciated those efforts. A statement that he made in an interview with People in 2012 was that "she does that for me a great deal more than I have ever done it for her." He went on to explain that she has always been the one to put herself through the ringer in order to ensure that we spend time together. Those comments made by Shelton brought to light the imbalance that exists in their efforts to keep their relationship together. The fact that Lambert was prepared to put up with the difficulties of frequent travel and separation was evidence of her dedication to the relationship. Nevertheless, it also signaled that the strain on their marriage was increasing. As a result of the couple's high-profile careers, their personal lives were regularly subjected to scrutiny. The migration of Lambert to Oklahoma, as well as her subsequent feelings of disorientation after spending time away from her family and friends in Texas, brought an additional degree of hardship to the situation. According to Success, Lambert had a difficult time adjusting to the new environment and reporting that she felt separated from her prior support network. As a means of assisting her in settling in and making her feel more at home, Shelton urged her to establish enterprises in the state of Oklahoma. In the year 2015, Lambert herself said that these new endeavors assisted her in experiencing a sense of having planted roots in their new area. According to her, "I believe that he may have been aware that it would give me the impression that I had established some roots in our new location, and it accomplished exactly that." The obstacles of their long-distance relationship proved to be too enormous, despite the fact that they made these efforts to adjust and find stability in their relationship. 2015 was the year that their marriage passed a critical juncture. It was stated by TMZ that Lambert had arrived at the realization that their position of living apart from one another was not a suitable way to live. As a result of the couple's inability to find a balance between the demands of their employment and their desire to spend quality time together on a consistent basis, they came to the conclusion that the sacrifices they were making were excessive. These realizations had a significant role in the choice that they made to separate ways. Miranda Lambert went through a significant time of change and self-reinvention following the dissolution of her marriage to Blake Shelton in the decade of 2015. Instead of going back to her hometown of Lindale, Texas, Lambert made the decision to start over in Nashville, a city that is synonymous with country music, but where her personal background was less well known. A key turning point in her life was marked by this shift, which represented both a physical and emotional relocation away from the shadows of her past. The yearning that Lambert had to get away from the familiar and the difficult memories that were associated with her prior life was the driving force behind her decision to go to Nashville. As she revealed during her wildcard tour in the year 2020, "I relocated here in 2015 while I was in the middle of a HTI show, reflecting on the upheaval and mental turbulence that was caused by her divorce the previous year. Nashville had the potential to be a new beginning for her, a location where she could begin to rebuild her life and career without the constant reminders of the challenges she had faced in the past. It was in the bustling city of Nashville that Lambert discovered both peace and opportunities for creativity. The singer quickly became a well-known figure in the bar scene of the area, notably in the Midtown area of Nashville, where she resided for a considerable amount of time after her relocation. During the time when Lambert was navigating her life after the divorce, these bars, with their raw and personal atmospheres, provided a shelter for her. This time period was one of profound personal healing, according to her description. When Lambert recounted this with her audience, she said, "I realized at that point that somehow, sitting there crying in my beer like we do when we sing country music, it healed me all the way, like it healed me to the bone." A devastating picture of Lambert's emotional state during this time period is evoked by the image of her sitting alone in a pub, ruminating on her heartache while writing songs on a napkin. The location was a place where she could confront her emotions and pour them into her music. It was a setting that was both tangible and figurative, both a therapeutic treatment for Lambert's grief and a stimulant for her creative process. The combination of beer and music worked as a spark for Lambert's creative process. Within the context of a public setting, this unfiltered personal perspective highlights the tenderness and authenticity that have come to characterize her songwriting. Although Lambert's decision to immerse herself in the music industry and bar culture of Nashville may appear to be indicative of a standard country music tale, it was actually a profoundly personal and life-changing experience for her. Not only did the city's music culture and its acceptance of her as an artist give a platform for her creative expression, but it also served as a support network that assisted her in navigating the aftermath of her high-profile divorce. It was not enough for her to just relocate to Nashville in order to begin the process of re-establishing her life there. In order to accomplish this, she needed to be emotionally resilient and to recreate both her personal and identity. The fortitude and passion that Lambert possesses as an artist is demonstrated by the fact that she is able to translate her pain into song. It was a symbolic sanctuary for her, where she could recover and reclaim her voice, and the bars and the music that they housed became her shelter. There has been a great deal of speculation around the dissolution of the marriage between Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert, with many accounts being told about the factors that actually led to their breakup. It would appear that the truth, as is frequently the case with high-profile divorces, is located somewhere in the middle of the numerous storylines that are being spread throughout the media. In March of 2015, allegations began to circulate that Miranda Lambert was seen acting like a couple with fellow country artist Chris Young. These rumors were reported by Radar Online. It was stated in this report that Lambert's interactions with Young were more than just pleasant, and it was also implied that this may have been a factor in the collapse of her marriage to Shelton. On the other hand, the situation isn't as straightforward as a single reported affair suggests. The news outlet TMZ, on the other hand, reported the tale from a different perspective. The purported relationship that Lambert allegedly had with another guy was cited as the reason that Blake Shelton filed for divorce, according to their assertions. It was indicated in this narrative that Shelton's decision to break the marriage was motivated by Lambert's alleged infidelity with a person who was not publicly known at the time. In light of the fact that their lives and relationships are public, the rumors that circulated about Lambert and Young quickly became more widespread. A prominent reference of Chris Young was included in the report that was published on Radar Online. Chris Young took to social media in order to openly confront these rumors. It was made quite plain by Young in his statement that he found the charges to be disturbing. He wrote, "I don't normally address gossip, but with regard to this particular matter, I will. It is mentioned that my name was a factor that contributed to the divorce that Blake and Miranda went through. SIC, that is not even close to be true. Because I consider both of them to be my friends, I would never betray that friendship. I just wanted to make sure that was apparent." Young's denial was an obvious attempt to protect his personal and professional connections with Shelton and Lambert, as well as to separate himself from the conjecture that was going on. Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert have made a joint statement in reaction to the intense scrutiny and media attention that has been directed toward them. During this trying time, they voiced their sorrow about the dissolution of their marriage and requested solitude from others. The following is an excerpt from the statement that was reported by E! "This is not the future that we envisioned, and it is with heavy hearts that we moved forward separately. Real individuals with real lives, with genuine families, friends, and co-workers are what we are dealing with here. Regarding this extremely private subject, we respectfully request that you respect our need for privacy and compassion." The rumors of adultery did not end with the divorce of Shelton and Lambert, despite the fact that they made an attempt to keep their personal lives out of the public light. The media also paid close attention to Miranda Lambert's future relationships after they were revealed. After her relationship with Shelton ended, Lambert started a relationship with the singer Anderson East. However, her relationship with East became another subject of gossip when it was said that she had cheated on him with Evan Felker, a member of the band Turnpike Troubadours. This resulted in the relationship becoming a source of gossip. During Lambert's Like Hippies tour, Felker and his band had served as the opening act for her. Due to the fact that US Weekly published an article about these charges, the narrative of Lambert's personal life became even more complicated. A report from TMZ states that a source who is close to Miranda Lambert's team has made a remarkable assertion. Shelton was never the sexual partner of Lambert herself. Instead, the source of the information asserted that the blame was placed on Shelton, who was said to have been involved in an affair with another singer. Within the context of this story, Shelton is portrayed as the principal instigator of the breakup of the marriage, while Lambert is portrayed as the party that was caused harm. Additionally, the insider asserted that Shelton's public relations team had launched a preemptive campaign against Lambert's reputation, implying that they had targeted Miranda before the divorce documents had even been finalized. By making this statement, it is implied that Shelton's team was deliberately seeking to deflect blame away from him and onto Lambert. This may have been a strategy to control the public repercussions that resulted from the divorce. Among the allegations that are particularly serious is one that pertains to the late singer Katie Groves. It has been reported that Shelton was romantically connected with Groves between the years of 2013 and 2014. This time frame overlaps with the emotionally rough years that led up to the breakup of the partnership. Groves, who passed suddenly in May 2020 due to problems associated to chronic ethanol misuse, was supposedly a significant participant in the turmoil that surrounded Shelton and Lambert's decision to part ways because of their relationship. Following the filing for divorce in 2015, Groves resorted to Twitter to express her emotional pain. She posted a series of tweets that indicated at a previous love connection with Shelton. Groves made these comments in response to the filing for divorce. Despite the fact that these tweets have been removed from the internet permanently, they provide a look into her point of view regarding the incident. One tweet said, "It's sick that I experienced a once-in-a-lifetime that is still as strong as the day it happened and have been punished every single day since." This post gave the impression that Groves was extremely hurt by the fact that her relationship with Shelton had come to an end. "I never stopped loving you, but you just ran away," was the subject of another tweet. Do you not think that is what they teach you to love? Due to the fact that one loves the other more than the other, they have the ability to almost cause the death of the other. In spite of all these years, it is you, and it has always been, and will always be. The intricate narrative of Shelton and Lambert's divorce is further complicated by the presence of these emotive and cryptic letters, which portray a sense of betrayal and sadness. The terrible conclusion to Groves' life sometimes obscures the true impact of these disclosures, despite the fact that Groves has expressed some very moving observations on the subject. The music community suffered a major loss when she passed away at a young age, which further exacerbated the already tangled story of her association with Shelton by adding another layer of complication. There was a dramatic backdrop for the dissolution of Shelton and Lambert's marriage, which was produced by the mix of personal disappointment, public speculation, and scrutiny from the media. During the course of their marriage, which lasted for 4 years, Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton were confronted with a number of significant personal tragedies that put their partnership to the test and strengthened their connection. They went through the process of grieving together, which was defined by profound losses and periods of feeling supported emotionally. In January of 2012, when Blake and Miranda Shelton were still in the honeymoon phase of their relationship, Blake's father, Dick Shelton, passed away. Blake suffered a huge loss as a result of the passing of Dick Shelton, whose health had been deteriorating for some time before to Blake's passing. In response to the tragic event that occurred, Blake Shelton issued a statement on his website in which he expressed his appreciation for the support that he got during this challenging time. "I would like to express my gratitude for your understanding and support at this challenging time. and I would also like to thank you for praying for me. According to CNN, the support that you have provided means the world to me. The necessity of community and support in the face of personal loss was brought to light by this public expression of mourning. During the latter part of that same month, Miranda Lambert was confronted with her own heartbreaking disappointment. The fatal accident that took the life of her childhood buddy, Mark Tex Adams, was a tragedy. Adams was struck by a car after he had stopped to help a driver who was out of petrol. The driver had been in need of assistance. In order to express her sorrow, Lambert resorted to Twitter and wrote, "Today I was involved in a tragic accident that resulted in the loss of a friend I've had since the 3rd grade. When is this suffering going to come to an end? It has been claimed by the boot that you should pray for peace." Their sadness was likely worsened by the fact that these two huge losses, one for Shelton and one for Lambert, occurred within weeks of each other. This placed further strain on their early marriage and made it more difficult for them to continue their relationship. Both Lambert and Shelton were able to find a way to channel their anguish into their music despite the personal tragedies that they were experiencing. The fact that they collaborated on the composition of the song Over You, which Lambert later recorded, is one of the most heartbreaking results of their shared anguish. A profoundly personal meditation on Richie Shelton, Blake Shelton's brother, who had passed away in a vehicle accident in 1990. The song was written by Blake Shelton at the time. According to Blake, the song served as a means for him to both commemorate the memory of his brother and work through his long-standing pain. It was an opportunity for Miranda to provide emotional support to her husband while he went through a severe emotional testing period. Shelton and Lambert's relationship underwent a significant transformation as a result of the experience of composing Over You together, according to Lambert. When she was being interviewed by Success, she made the following observation: "We'll never have that feeling like we did when we wrote it. It's amazing that you and your partner are able to share that. Our connection has just reached a new level as a result of this." A profound emotional event that brought them closer together. The process of creating the song was not just a joint effort, but also a profoundly emotional one. What are your thoughts on the unfortunate events that Miranda Lambert had to go through? Use the space provided below to share your thoughts with us. Please let us know if you found this video to be helpful. It is important that you remember to subscribe to the channel, share the video, and leave a like if you enjoy it. I appreciate you taking the time to view this, and I'll see you in the next films. I will miss you.